Reverb can be a great tool for creating cohesion and helping your mix gel. But in this mixing masterclass, we turn our attention to more task-specific reverb techniques. As discussed in an earlier mix masterclass, it's possible to make a lot of progress with a core selection of 3 reverbs that roughly cover small, medium and large duties. However, as your mix progresses, you'll probably find you need some more tailored effects. Let's look at a few examples. Getting the right backbeat sound can make or break a track, and a tailor-made reverb can work wonders. This allows us to get the decay time bang on and choose a reverb with the required tone. Let's consider a couple of examples. First up, a regular drum kit. Here the recorded room sound may be too distant. On this occasion, something small is what you're after, as it puts space around the snare without it becoming washy, but it also needs to work with the overheads. Here we've loaded up a tiny space. The decay is short, about 30 milliseconds, and the overall tone is nice and bright. For machine beats, we're not working with an existing room ambience, so can be a bit more creative. Try 2 separate reverbs, one short, a bit like the drum kit example, and something bigger. Here we're using a medium room. To further finesse reverbs, we can tailor both the send and return. An obvious candidate is vocals, where we may want to de-ess the send or more typically EQ the whole reverb return. You used to burn so bright. We can also try other pre-processing effects such as saturation. Try inserting a saturation plugin before the reverb in the auxiliary track. This will dirty up just the reverb and leave your original source sound as is. You used to burn so bright. Why? Another technique that works really well is to sidechain the reverb return. Again, following the same concept as the vocal reverb, we may not want to sidechain the source sound much or even at all, but by sidechaining the reverb return we can create some great effects. Here we've used the kick drum as the sidechain for the classic pumping effect. Using task-specific reverbs for spot effects can be vital and allows us to really fine-tune the reverb. If we're processing a single sound, this often works best set up as an insert with the reverb integrated into the mixing chain. Here we've used a large, thin reverb to process a clap. Automation can be a handy tool when tailoring reverbs or setting send levels. One of our favourite tricks is to automate sends to process specific sections of the source, a bit like the reverb equivalent of a delay spin. Finally, if you're after something slightly different, mono reverb can be an interesting option. One particularly good technique is to pan your dry source to one side and your mono reverb to the opposite side. Here we've used this to create an interesting spread effect for our synth.